Hello everybody. Today I am in a fort that my little cousin made. Look, he made like moss and everything, or moss carpet. It's really cool. I'll show you at the end. Anyways, today we're gonna talk about believing people when they show you who they are in that moment the first time. This is something that I have really struggled with in the past because I used to really want to hold on to people. But the reality is, when somebody is choosing to treat you in a way that doesn't reflect the way you're treating them, then it's really not about you. I guess that's the first thing I have to say, is it has nothing to do with you. And the thing is, nobody can control anybody else's choices ever, because the choices they make come from their heart. And like I've said a lot of times before, the only people that can control their heart is themselves. And so it's hard to walk between always forgiving people, no matter what, guarding your heart, but also setting boundaries. I think it's a really, really difficult line to find sometimes. But I think it's really worth it because, number one, I think that from the very bottom of my heart, I believe that everybody is capable of change. Everybody, every single human being on this earth. Because the thing is, when people change, it's because the choices that they made changed. It doesn't mean that the temptations of whatever they were going through or struggling with before went away. It just means that the choices that they are currently making, or will hopefully make down the line, are different. And so I think that's a really respectable and admirable thing. And I think that it's really important to recognize that in people. However, in the moment when they are choosing to not reciprocate what you're putting in, or your kindness, or your heart, or your effort, I guess, to say very simply, accept that and say, okay, this is what you're choosing in this moment, and I honestly can't do anything about that. And you do have a responsibility. I think it's really important to make sure that you handle every situation as maturely as you can. And of course, we're all still learning, but I think part of that is number one, not allowing yourself to get super emotionally involved. I think that that's kind of what guarding your heart means. I think you need to be able to see the situation clearly, no matter what it is, and you can't do that if you're getting really emotional. And something that I learned, and has been difficult to put into practice, but something that's really worth it, is understanding that your feelings are not your facts, and you are able to put your feelings aside in those moments. And I think, of course, it's important to process them, but I think in moderation. But I again, make sure that the door is always open on your end for when or if that person, whatever you might be going through, has the ability to change and make better choices. Make sure that that door is open, because I think that's a really beautiful thing to provide somebody when they are capable of changing, because a lot of people really like to hold on to the faults of others and past mistakes, when in reality we're all growing and we all make mistakes. So I think that's a beautiful thing to do. But in that moment, believe them and you don't even have to set that boundary, really. I mean, like verbally, you can just say something that I really have found helpful is saying, this is how you're choosing to treat me in this moment, and I've done my best. I've done what I can do. I can't control what you do, so I'm gonna let you figure your own things out, and whenever you're ready, I love you and I'm here for you, but only when you're able to make those decisions and meet me where I'm meeting you, or meet me halfway, wherever it is. And yeah, something else that I learned, I guess why I'm saying this is because the Lord tests you with what you preach. And like I've said in the past, I just drove across the entire country. And there's a lot of downtime in that. It took like 40 hours in total. And I was like preaching to myself, preaching to the Lord. I don't know if I already shared this story. I don't know. But I was just preaching and I was like, God, next time you show me somebody's character for who they are in that moment, I'm gonna believe you the first time. I'm gonna believe you. And I kept saying that, and I kept saying that because I thought that I had learned. And then literally that night, like one of my closest friends, somebody that I care for extremely deeply, totally, he tested me, and I had to do that same thing where I was like, okay, this is what the Lord is trying to teach me in this moment. I told him that I would believe him when he showed me somebody's character, and so I'm gonna do that. And it was really hard. It's not an easy thing to do, so I understand that. But also another thing is, don't ever judge people by their words, judge people by their actions. That's something I know a lot of people like say that, but it's true, because a lot of people talk, a lot of people know how to talk, and a lot of people know how to say the right things. And here's a scarier thing. A lot of people aren't capable of being honest with themselves, so they're not capable of like truly looking inward and looking at themselves completely and understanding their faults. And so when they're like actually unable to see that because they're not choosing to be honest with themselves, then they actually create a fake idea of themselves in their head and portray that character. But the reality is, because it's not actually who they are to the core, their real character will always show through their actions. Always, always, always. Like, yeah. And so that's kind of a scary thing, I think. I don't know. But just guard your hearts. Be kind. Be forgiving. Allow people to mess up. Love everybody. Love everybody. And God is love. But God is love because of Jesus's character and because he forgave us. And I think the strongest act of love is forgiveness, like true forgiveness. And not just for yourself, but actually for the other person, because I do believe that forgiveness is kind of a self-serving act if you don't actually extend it to the other person and give them a chance. So all that to say, yeah, just guard your heart, and I hope this provided clarity for anybody going through anything, because this is something I've learned over the last few weeks, and it's come up multiple times. So anyways, I'm gonna show you the fort now. It's so cool. Look it. It's a moss thingy. It's a moss rug. Yep.